and welcome to Radio 54 African Panorama. Like I said, we have a special guest today who is Ndate Albertignati here in studio. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ndate Albertignati, for being here. With your busy schedule, I said, no, you know what? Let me just try my luck here. But at least I shouldn't be complaining, like what Refti Chibabiro said earlier. I said we should be thankful. So I want to be thankful to everything that you that you have contributed in the gender-based violence. We want to really appreciate you for all the work that you have done. I've sat down with you too many times, discussing these issues of gender-based violence and so forth, unity and stuff. And here we are. I'm here with you in studio talking about these issues. So I know that you are an ambassador. When it comes to this, you're an ambassador of peace. You've been going around. You've been around. I want to take you back to the song Senzenina. I'll always start with that one. Just tell me something. What came into your mind? Is that when activism started? When you wrote the song Senzenina, what was that all about?
First of all, activism started way back in the late 70s. And there are two songs called Senzenina. There is the South African struggle song called Senzenina. Senzenina. Then there is one composed called Senzenina, meaning what crime have we committed, which I composed on the day that Chris Hani was shot. It must have been 1983, if I'm not mistaken. That's when I composed that very night. I composed it, and that song is dedicated to him. That song and the poem is dedicated to him. And I was thinking the many people who died fighting for their freedom. As you know, that Chris Hani, like many, had spent so many years in exile, and then he comes home only to be shot, and that pained me a lot. But I later on met the wife called Limpo Hani in Holland. I think it was a town called can't remember the town, but it was in Holland. And I was so happy to meet the wife it must have been 1996, if I'm not mistaken, yes, in Holland. And performed in a function that she was attending. It was called The Hague. The Hague, yes, that's the town, Den Haag. But anyway, the song and poem called Senzenina was basically about the struggle that people had been going through, that people continue to go through. And in my main one was basically it's a commemoration of people who died fighting to free themselves, fighting for their freedom. And that is a continuous struggle. It is a continuous struggle, as me and you know. Life is a struggle. Life is full of struggles. Basically that is it.
Yeah. Hello? I think the network might be acting up. The network is acting up. I can't hear him anymore.
Okay, no, I was.
Okay, you can go on ahead. I'd actually lost you there. I don't know whether it's network or something.
No, I was now quiet, awaiting further questions because I was done with explaining issues surrounding Senzenina, the song and the poem.
Okay. Sorry. I thought. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I hear you. I think the network was a bit bumpy, yeah, when as you were explaining the issue around Senzenina. So you said something regarding the gender-based abuse when I asked you earlier, and you said to me, this is our way of life. There is nothing like we live these things every day. So it's like something that we already expect, that there will be struggles, that we expect that there will be fights and so forth. How do we then unify people as artists? You have used music before, like the song Senzenina. How do we encourage other artists to come on board and actually unite people using art?
First of all, it's not just Senzenina. I think I've written two books, which are basically poems. The one is called My Daughter, and the other called My Son, to My Son, which I wrote with Ignatius Mabasa. The latter, which is my son, wherein I'm exploring and trying to explain issues of sexuality to a daughter. I do know that it is taboo in Africa to talk to your daughter about these things. And of course, that is where violence comes from, actually.
Wow.
Violence comes from basically those issues. And I'm trying to, in that book, like My Daughter, I'm trying to initiate dialogue between members of the family, among members of the family, between daughter and parents. After reading out the book or buying them a book, and you read the poem, and you start asking what the poem is all about, or what the book is all about. Then then that you begin a dialogue between yourself and your daughter, because just to start from nowhere sometimes it's difficult. And I've asked, it's not just unique to Africa. I've asked people in Europe, in England, about these issues, and they've said, oh yes, we have the same challenges, that it's difficult just to initiate a dialogue between yourself and your daughter, especially when
That's
she's
right.
14, 15, 16. That's when she's most vulnerable. About artists coming on board, art has always been at the heart of the people, right? Art is the key component of communication. And it communicates in a way that is easier than just writing a speech and presenting it to a conference. Music, theater, dance, poetry, comedy,
Yeah.
all those things are very key as means of communication. And I think that
That's right.
quite a number of artists have communicated in that regard, have been, continuously communicating. If you think of Oliver, one of my friends, best friends, the late Oliver Mtukudzi.
Yeah.
He communicated these issues in a manner that people understood much better than a speech.
That's true. That's right.
I remember a song called Mangorombera.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. And one
Tozeza Baba.
Tozeza Baba, scared of our father, and for me, people were dancing to the song, enjoying the song, but he was basically communicating
That's right.
pertinent issues to communities. to men in particular, as indeed to women to some extent, because gender-based violence is not just about men being violent on women. It is both sides. I sometimes I feel that women keep things up a lot in their chests, and when they let out the steam, it's like a bottle. You
Like a
lock,
bottle of Coke.
yeah, you lock the steam in there, and when it comes out, it becomes so violent because
But
she would have been keeping this, and sometimes deadly and really dangerous.
it's because of you men. When we try to talk about it like all the time, you say we talk too much. No, umfazi amele athule, umele olalela ubaba, and we are emotional beings. We want to express.
But what I'm saying basically, I get you. Men, of course, the largest proportion of people who violate other people's rights are men. This is why the former UN Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, created or initiated a program called Unite. It's called Africa Unite. If you check, you will see it. Unite to end violence against women and girls. I think most of the violence is directed to women and girls. And as I said, some of it borders around sexuality, issues to sex. So there is basically no need for people to come to a point where they become physical. Physical, no. I think people this is why we have mouths to talk things over. Yes, I do know there is emotional violence also. Emotional, where you create a situation where somebody feels extremely disturbed mentally because of certain issues surrounding that kind of violence. I think, as I'm saying, there is no point in, only God has a right to take someone's life, because it is God who created that life. This is why when somebody dies naturally, no one goes to prison, no one goes to court, because all you can do maybe is to take God to court. God is the only one with a right to taking someone's life, because God created that life. No one anywhere in the world has a right to do so, except maybe through the laws that are created by different countries, where it is agreeable that when somebody has committed such a crime as, for instance, murder in some countries, then they then say, well, they can then have a death sentence. But no one has a right to lay a hand on anyone else, on somebody.
Okay, so
So
when you're saying, only in instances where the law says so, do you think there are people who rape and murder women should be hanged? Should we bring the death sentence? What's your thoughts around that? Because there's been a call for death sentence regarding these rapists, serial killers, and so forth. Say the person prison sentence alone is not enough. The person should be killed. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think so. I just don't think that they should be hanged. I think they should be given appropriate sentences as created by the various countries. I think there are different circumstances why somebody ends up committing such a crime. I think that if we were to hang them, there would be no men left
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that.
There'll be very few men left. I think they should be punished indeed,
Okay.
invariably.
Okay. Like back in the day, our cultures and tradition, they had ways of dealing with these things. That's why we had quite low numbers of these crimes where a man could rape a woman. I don't know. Someone once said it was not a high because only the leaders or the chiefs and the kings were allowed to rape back in the day. So yeah, everybody else was gonna be a victim. It was a school of thought.
You know what? I'm yet to verify this. That
Yeah.
under Shaka Zulu's rule, such heinous activities were punishable by death. If you raped, you would die. If you lied, even, you will die. If you killed somebody, you will die. I'm still trying to read around that. I read in one book that there was no prison under Shaga's rule.
Yeah.
If you committed a crime, you will die. Like if you stole, if you murdered, if you raped, even if you lied, your punishment was by death. I'm yet to really establish that. I'm yet perhaps to go to Wanongoma to really find out if that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's something that is worth following up.
I remember in one book that I read, I can't remember. You can't find that book locally. I can't find it in South Africa. I ordered it, and it was delivered when I left. When I had left New York, I ordered it when I was in New York in last April, May, and in that book, because I read it before and someone stole it from me, so I ordered yet another copy. Shaka is actually having an argument with some white guy, and he's saying, you guys, do you really I hear you punish people by putting them in a crawl, meaning prison. We don't do that here. We actually, when you have stolen, you have to die. When you have raped, you have to die. Stuff like that. I saw that in a book.
I think this is worth following up on. We need to do some oral check. Go to the villages. Siyokhuluma ngabadala, the kings and the chiefs. Siyobuza ukuthi, how was it back in the day? We need to read those old books written by older authors, so that we can find out what was the way of dealing with the rapists in Africa. Because if we don't look at the history of gender-based violence in Africa, the history of gender roles in Africa, we'll always have this kind of problems. Because now there is no balance between what a woman should do and should be, and what a man should do and should be, and what are the boundaries. Umuntu uyenza mawuthanda nje. Mangivuka ekuseni ngisitshela ukuthi yeah.
Uyazi ukuthi our communities way back were always protective of women.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that they had a system, they had a way. I may not be in the know, I may not know the deeper part of it, but I do know that women were protected. And sometimes we confuse, because we live in a modern world which comes with all sorts of information, all sorts of stuff. We tend to start blaming our traditional system. Yes, but for instance, one very interesting one is that if my brother died today, my elder brother, I take over. Yes, it was never meant to be an abuse. It was meant for continuity. It was meant for the protection of the wife. um, economically in particular, and in all other aspects.
Areas, yeah.
Therefore, so there are a number of things that are part of our indigenous knowledge systems that were in place meant to protect women from his gelegeqe and so on and so on. Certainly there should have been a way of dealing with issues like rape in the past.
Yeah, yeah. I believe we need to do some more research. I saw another video from Mumunyo Mdala, I think Ubuya Uganda or Kenya. I shared it on my Facebook where he said it's actually we were, we were told or meant to believe that African men hated women, and this thing has been happening. Yes, we when we look at child marriages, can we really blame our tradition when it comes to that? Because we didn't have any age limit. So those who came with age limit are the ones who taught us that a 16-year-old is too young. So back then we cannot really look back and say no, they were wrong. They were not wrong. It's just that the system, the cultures are evolving. So we find out that everything has changed to something else. But looking at our African traditional religion, I think there was, to some extent, the protection of women in our own setups. But when it comes to Gugaranaka, now things have changed, because by then it was to economically look after the woman. Now the women, siyakwazi ukuwagcoka sivukele siye emsebenzini, sizinakekele nathi sithenge inkomo, nathi sibe ngestand, nathi sibe, so loko siyakwenza, siyakwazi ukuyenza. So akusafuneki ukuthi bamncane azokuthatha indawo yobudo wakhe. Hayi.
Yeah, liqiniso lelo ukuthi with diseases such as hepatitis and HIV around sometimes, kodwa ke sokusiya ngabantu nxabezwaneni lakho kudala kwakhona, it was not by force, by the way.
That's right.
Automatic necessarily. This is why also, by the way, mina uma ngingathola umntwana, right, I have a wife. Uma ngingathola umntwana, abadala babehlala phansi without my knowledge, of course, but you would suspect, but without your knowledge, they would then get your younger brother to sleep with you.
Yes.
And I am made to believe they would not continue, like once that bit has been fulfilled, the brother withdraws. DNA and everything, we are you as the same family. That's one of the ways in which things or indigenous knowledge systems would actually work. I think it was never and has never been a matter of force. I think however, if you are the elder brother, awungeni umfazi we-younger brother. When your younger brother is passed on, you don't ngoba umalukazana wakho lwana, wena ungubabazana wakhe, right? Only if it is my elder brother who is passed on, ngena unkosikazi akulankinga. So they had systems, they had a way. Okwakathesi, it's not necessary. However, I used the word continuity before. Family continuity. To lessen challenges within the family. Once a younger brother angangena, it's still the same blood, same family, and so on and so forth. But it's not a force matter, as it were. I use that term, that phrase I'm used to using, force matter. It's still once again dependent on whether the two find
Agree.
Yes, the two are attracted to each other.
Yeah, I remember that there's something that, like where I come from, Emberewa, I saw something where umfazi, actually, makuti indoda ishonile. When the husband has passed on, they do that ceremony, and they put all the brothers here, and ngabantwana bakho. So you also have a choice to Angithi, you take that bowl with water and you go and kneel and give to the brother that you have chosen to carry on. If you don't want anybody, you give to your kids to say, okay, I'm not choosing anyone. I just want to continue with my kids. So it was not really a force matter. It was choose my kettle. I just want to read some comments here from this Shamiso Bamba, who is saying, I'm watching. Welcome, Shamiso, on Radio 54. We also have Cornelia Mkandla, who is a broadcaster as well on Radio 54. She's saying, Salibonani Baba Unyat, Uyabulisa. Yeah. So it's actually good to have you. I want to play one of your clips here. Let me see if I can be able to get it. There's a clip that you sent.
My son Shakespeare, do not just shake your spear everywhere.
Shake, shake, shaking, shaking your spear everywhere. I see you shake, shake, shaking, shaking your spear everywhere. You are blah, blah, planting, planting your spear everywhere. You are blah, blah, planting, planting your spear everywhere.
There are angry leopards and buffaloes and antelopes wounded from previous encounters with hunters. They are restless and careless and may, in the heat of the moment, hurt themselves or new hunters. Let that not be you, my son.
Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere. Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere.
My son Shakespeare, do not just shake your spear everywhere. My son Shakespeare, I am proud of you. Today you've become a warrior eager to explore and tame the jungle with your sharp spear that never misses. My son, great hunters steer their spears carefully with their eyes and ears, with all their senses, with their intellect and heart, and their sense of right and wrong. How they use their spear points the way for others, and they stroke it and pat it with its slick sheath, keeping the blade sharp and safe until they find the right one.
Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere. Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere.
Be wiser than yesterday, since today you have a chance to listen to me. Not many sons are lucky to get my advice. Everybody falters every now and then. Sometimes you may fall, as is common to all boys and men. Wherever you falter, pick yourself up, keep on walking, whatever your journey, whatever the situation.
My son, it's not everything you see that you must stand. Some animals are sacred and others are careless. Some will blunt your spear and break its point, break its shaft in two and your heart too. Others, like the python, will play games with you while you enjoy their tight embraces and cold kisses in between sweet nothings uttered by forked tongues. My son.
Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere. Shake, 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 Shakespeare, my son. Do not shake it everywhere.
Use your spear carefully, Shakespeare. A hunter knows when to act and when not to act. He knows how to choose. That is the only way to grow wise like me. The only way a hunter grows old. Many young hunters will give you wrong advice. Only a few.
Yes, welcome back, welcome back. We've been watching this Shakespeare, my son. I wonder which spear we are talking about here. Okay, I wanna I wanna read the comments here from Eric Knight, the General Eric Knight. Eric Knight, who is actually the founder of Radio 54 African Panorama. He's saying, good to see you, Albert Nyati. How are you, Kapu? You have been quiet. We cannot tolerate this anymore. More. So I don't know if you have a response for Eric. He's calling you Kapu. What is that? What is that all about? Do you have a name that we don't know about?
No. Eric and Ezra, if you know Ezra Chisasman, these two are called Kapu. So they tend their name. Their name, what's meant to be their name.
I think we are losing him. Network is not. Yeah.
You can't get me. So Kapu means, there is a drama called which was done by Slandulo, Felix Moyo, and in it there is a guy.
No, I get you now.
You get me now. So yeah, the piece of drama that Felix Moyo did, I can't remember, but there is a character in it who says "Ascapule dog." Kapula means Kapu. So
Okay.
Eric is Kapu, Ezra Chisa is Kapu.
Okay, I'm just wondering, and I'm asking myself, like Kapu, okay, because I really want to call you by whatever name they're calling you out there. But anyway, I was asking regarding the issue of this song, Shake My Son, Don't Shake Your Spear Everywhere. I think I also have it in one of the books that you gave me called My Son. You also talk about your son Shakespeare. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. First of all, as I said, I wrote that with Ignatius Mabasa, just the book bit of it, or the poetry bit. And then the music bit was done by Derek Mpofu, one of my boys, a very talented boy called Derek Mpofu. And then I did the poetry with a friend of mine. You will see some shots were done in Geneva. If you see that chair, the chair that symbolizes the broken chair, one of the legs is broken. Yeah? It symbolizes issues of landmine. And so we shot part of that in Geneva and partly in Zimbabwe. And there's a friend of mine who works at World Health Organization called Daniel Lobia, Dr. Daniel Lobia. That's the one who appears reading out or performing the poetry there. And you could see that he's with his son, right? And I'm with my sons. You see the younger son and the older son, who is busy on the I'm talking to him and he's busy, But anyway, on these gadgets, it is basically a poem or a song or a book or a video about issues to do with sexuality. I indicated that it's not just in Africa. You could see that friend of mine, Daniel Lobia, also trying to communicate the same message to his son. If you go to the song "My Daughter," you will see him as well, more or less the same kind of behavior. It's a universal challenge between fathers and their children, particularly.
That's right.
Yeah. Women are much better at communicating issues. They find it somehow they find a way of talking to, particularly to their daughters, and sometimes to their sons. But you know, women are clever. For instance, in a village, if a mother wants their daughter married to a particular family, she usually finds a way. When the boys are driving their cattle home and they pass by asking for water to drink, when they are gone, the mother makes remarks. She would normally say, "Oh,
yeah, I think we are losing you. Your network is kind of bad. If you just tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, this is Martha Mataranda Shimba on Radio 54 African Panorama with Albert Nyati.
Okay, are you getting me now?
Yeah.
Are you right? Yeah. So I'm saying mothers have a way. If they don't want their daughter married to a particular family, they would actually, when the boys have passed
So
through.
I think you are breaking. I can hear the bits and pieces. Yes, the network is kind of losing it a bit. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you clearly. It's very clear.
It's a bamba, Baba, but I think, yeah, I can hear you just the bits and pieces. Let's try again. If not, I'll have to put another video as we pick up your network.
Okay. Yeah. So I was saying that when boys are driving cattle,
I'm trying to protect you from the truly hyenas. I'm trying to protect you from the jumpy monkeys, from the panting leopards.
My daughter, when I demand that you be home before dark every day, I, my daughter, do not hate you, dear. I am merely trying to protect you from the jaws of the drooling hyenas that love to feast in the dark, from the panting leopards lurking in the dark, stalking you like ghosts almost ready to leap at you. I am merely trying to protect you, dear, from the hungry lions silently eyeing you, smacking their lips, ready to pounce.
Inyati ibuzo kwamaphambili isala kutshelwa sibona ngumoto omntanami omamela.
When I say be home before dark every day, I am trying to protect you from the jittery and jumpy monkeys leaping from tree to tree and from branch to branch with no particular base.
Remember, my daughter, women are powerful too. They have the power to say no wherever they roam and go. No is the most powerful word, the roar in the jungle. Learn it well. Women have the right of respect, to be listened to be protected. Women are tigers, beautiful and powerful. But even tigers tread carefully, with cushioned feet. Listen to their whiskers, if not their fathers. Be brave, but careful and wise.
Daughter, take heed, darkness has no eye.
I look at this color. Ngifuna ukukhuluma. Ungahambe busuku. I'm trying to protect you. The bullying hyenas. I'm trying to protect you. The jumpy monkeys. From the panting leopards.
I am merely doing what fathers should do. It is my duty to protect you from the relentless black mambas that hate to miss a target as they slide and glide in the dark.
I am merely trying to protect you from the jungle out there. You may not see on our streets, in our villages, virtual.
Okay, welcome back. I'm so sorry about that. I just saw a message that I think I'm the one who was kicked out. You were sounding so perfectly. Thank you so much. Somebody was asking, is the film where Eric Knight is Kapu, is it the one called, is it Kutulwa Kokuphela drama?
Ukukhulwa kokuphela.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Accent yami ayikakashintshi. Ngisakhuluma njengeshona, but I'm sure uyangizwa kahle. But anyway, let's just continue regarding the video that you just play about your daughter. This is what I feel and believe. Ukuthi amantombazana, they are actually closer to their fathers, and abafana are close to their mothers. They're always mama's boy. So I think to fight gender-based violence and all of that, we need to sort of exchange roles. Women should be focused on the boys, and men should be focusing on protecting their daughters. As a man, you already know what men do, you know. The boys will always be boys. So you need to teach the daughter how to, you know, protect themselves. Yes.
Akithi ngesishona bathi rume risinganye peari rore ngesishona bathi indoda engaqambi indoda engaqambi imanga ayenelisi ukulobola ukuthatha indoda normally would say inkomo zonke. There is a friend of mine called Maqhinga Radebe owahlabela ingoma wathi yena inkomo zonke lezo zibonayo ngezami uthi indoda yabe ikhuluma amanga lapho kanti inkomo lezana ngezikayise lezabafowabo yena inqewu le one or nothing. Yabona inkomo ubona inkomo zihamba so ziningi so yabe undoda bese qamba amanga. Kulezi nsuku maybe sonkomo zimoda ubona indoda ichaya ngesedence kanti vole kumalumala and so on and so forth. Then umfazi uyatshelwa amanga ukuthi konke lokhu ngokwakho einkazane lapha usamshela. Afterwards usukhona subona ireality manje, then you see the reality ukuthi umuntu lo is poor no really. And what you have gone deep, you've gone in deep. So awusakwazi ukuthi wenzeni ngithi.
Yeah, so yizo lezo zinto nina amadoda kumele nifundise amantombazana. When you have daughters, you need to teach them that. No, guys will always lie. This is how it works as a man. But we don't do anything. We know how many have broken women's hearts. You know how it is. Why are you not teaching your daughters what to avoid? And the mothers knows the pain they go through. They know how it feels to be treated the way their husbands treat them. So why not talk to the boy child, to their sons, to say, don't ever do this to any other woman. Most men have seen how their mothers suffered.
Yeah, because it's such a taboo subject. In our traditional setup in the past, we used to have aunties talking to girls, and uncles talking to boys. Bebafundisa how to handle a woman, how to handle a man. So ngaleyo ndlela kwakusiba lula. That's why in some African communities like amaXhosa, you find that they have it's not just the circumcision ceremony. It goes beyond mere circumcision. It's a school where they are taught impilo.
Yeah.
Ngale machanganeni kwesinye isikhathi they also have ceremonies for girls and they teach them impilo. So way back kwakusiba lula because you had aunties and uncles. You know who replaced them today? The biggest aunt we have is Facebook.
Yeah.
Uncle ukhona ngo-Twitter, all those things. So the aunties are now scattered everywhere because of economic challenges. Abanye basemadolobheni and abanye overseas. It's akusela that contact. Each one is busy thinking about, impilo yakhe nabantu abakhe. Kodwa kudala o-auntie babe kwakulula babakazi bebe around nje. It would be easier ukuthi you take a day off ekhaya le from ukulima uye babona. Akusela nganekwane athesi kwakule isikhathi senganekwane yiso isikhathi esikhulu esifundisa abantwana. Those things played on their psychology. Inganekwane zanezana ezabomvundla labonteletsha labondwangu. Those things were about real life situations zabantu. Ukuthi okumvundla kuyame center. Uthi wena Ndlovu mina ngakudonsa ungakungenze lutho. Utshele imvubu ngakuthi imvubu ngakudonsa wena ungakungenze lutho. Bese babophanisa ke bona becabanga ukuthi kube ngurefri becabanga ukuthi kubani insana nomvundla okumvundla okuyi-tiny thing like that, yet indlovu lani lemvu, right? And so on and so forth. So those things meant so much, and I'm not sure how we failed to recapture them, to modernize them and ensure that they speak to our children.
That's right.
Of cartoons. Perhaps we may need to. That meant a lot, and our issues, our indaba our gender, those things would actually come in the process of our discussions. Right.
That's why I was saying, the need of looking at the history of gender roles in Africa is highly important. We need to look at that and modernize it. Not just ukuthi abomalume focus on their own kids, but ngawe umalume. So as an artist, as you go out there, you have a way of putting the message out there through books, through poetry. By the way, our generation now, they are more visual than ukuthi ahlala lalele abalaskat. So since we have anti-Facebook, malume Twitter, and everything on Google, why are we not feeding those social platforms with such messages, with abokatuni and so forth, that talk about our culture, our tradition, and those kind of, bridging that gap, so that our young people can, learn a lot from what they love most.
Yeah, we definitely, I think through cartoons, we definitely need to do that. But those things were good in some of those were didactic. Almost all of them had lessons for children, and in the process they're very good in shaping up their minds. Issues of gender roles. Surely, I think kwesinye isikhathi ngiyambona abantu bayaphambanisa, mistake. I don't know what to call it, but ama-gender roles aqakathekile. Yes, we sometimes try and force certain situations. I
That's right.
nxa ngilomntanami oyinkazana nomntanami ongumfana, surely ukugamula izigodo nama-roles are-rough tough lawana ngabona more the boy than the girl. Ukhumbule umzimba womuntu ongumama lithempeli eliqakathekileyo. That's why uyawuthwala for 9 months. So kwesinye isikhathi kulamanye ama-roles that I wouldn't want to see my mother a struggler ngawo. Ngama-roles vele kufana nje le-empini nje nxa usiyatshaya umbhobho usiyakuma. I think that of course we've heard ukuthi omama yes bayalwa, but I think honest amanye ama-roles lawa really are meant, they are too physical and they need that physicality. Asitsho ukuthi omama abafisayo it's fine, but also I know kulama feminists would tell you ukuthi umntanami oyinkazana ngifuna ukumbona ephethe udoli. Angifuna ukumbona ephethe udoli, ngimbona ephethe and so on and so forth, but it's a subject for another day.
Okay, but Nzinga, they were fighters and they went to war. They led, Amakawe and so forth. So when you say you wouldn't want, okay, really.
Ukukubona wena Martha ustruggler ukugijima ya ngiyakwazi umthathisi, yamazi umthathisi Olos K, Onzinga, Queen Nzinga, umthathisi la elokuzeni lapha ko Rustenburg lapha ko ngathi northwest ngale kuba Mahikeng, that whole area. Wayebusa umthathisi, wayeshaya amadoda, yakwazi lokho. Ungambuza umbuze kubo Shaka labo umzilikazi bayamazi umthathisi. Well, looks like cut off there.
We are back. Getting kicked out. Anyway, I wanted to say, since we are about to wrap up in a few minutes now, I wanted to ask you, what are the other initiatives that we are involved in fighting gender-based violence and in uniting the people in our communities, whether in Zim, South Africa, or anywhere around the world? What are you involved in currently?
In 2012, I was chosen as the UN Women Gender Champion. It's a program that ran for 2 years. I think I mentioned it's called Africa Unite to End Violence Against Women. It was running for 2 years, I think 2012 to was it 4 years, 2012 to 2016, I think. But then once a champion, always a champion. So it's continuous. And I try and urge fellow artists to have that in mind when they are creating their works, whether it's in the form of theater, dance, comedy, poetry, music. They can throw in a piece here and there in order to try and reduce violence on our women, violence on girls. That's what I've been involved in. But also through something that I and Derek call conversations. These conversations that speak to community, from the community at grassroots level to the highest
That's
level,
right.
like to presidents and prime ministers. And we performed to some of those, particularly on issues of health at World Health Assembly. I remember that 2017, we were with Vladimir Putin in Moscow at a TB conference. So those are conversations. We've had President Paul Kagame and the President of Switzerland, the then President of Switzerland, Alain Berset, and ministers of health. I do know that in South Africa I used to interact a lot with Mr. Honorable Motsoaledi Aaron a lot. And in this country, I interacted a lot with David Paranyaka, who was the Minister of Health, and many other ministers. I remember in Botswana, what's her name, Dorcas Mahato, left, and so forth. We have interacted a lot, and these are conversations. And remember, issues of gender-based violence also has to do with issues of health. So I've involved in that. These conversations, as I'm saying, from grassroots to the highest ever authority in the different countries. That's what I've been involved in. Creating poetry.
Okay.
Through my poetry, I've been meeting these people and talking to them. I remember in Zambia, the Minister of Health called Chilufya, Chitalo Chilufya. Is it 2019 or 18 in Geneva? After performance, the guy actually came up to me and gave me $500 and said, I said, for me? He said, yes. And he said to me, my brother, you have just made us proud. That has never happened to me. Just after a performance, coming off stage. Yeah, that's the time when we were with Paul Kagame and Alain of Rwanda, and Alain Berset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Albert. It was so great to have you here in studio. I'll be sharing, somebody was asking for details. I'll be sharing your details with the person. It was so great to have you, and keep up the great work. We'll actually do more together. I know we have projects that are hanging, that were hanged because of COVID-19, but 2021, we're back in the street and we're gonna work. So thank you so much for being here today.
Merci beaucoup.
Have a great day.
Itomela siyabonga. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other language. Twalumba.
Okay, kubonga mina.
Right. Sure.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.